How self-doubt kills profit and impact. What if I gave you a permission slip that said, your job is to feel good? And what if I told you that the better you feel, the bigger impact you can make in the world? And in fact, that is the magical parenting strategy that we've all been searching for. Hey, I'm Heather Chauvin, wife, mother of 3 boys, former social worker, breadwinner, recovering hustler, and stage 4 cancer survivor. Beyond all of these titles and labels, I'm a human being just like you, attempting to navigate it all while feeling good. My goal on this show is to show you that you can live an energized, sustainable life both at home and at work. My attempt is to keep it real with stories, interviews, and random thoughts. This is not a business or career podcast, and it's not a parenting podcast. It's both and so much more. You will laugh, you will cry, and you may even get a little frustrated with the truth you've been hiding from yourself. I believe all human behavior is a language, whether it's through your children, your health, or your relationships. And when you learn to listen instead of react, we begin to understand what it truly means to feel alive and in control. It's time to ditch self-sacrifice and step into your brave zone. All right, I'm back. So, for today's Thursday podcast, always a theme around business. I wanted to play off of Jamie Kern Lima's interview that was posted on Tuesday. So Jamie Kern Lima, if you did not listen to that episode, go listen to it. She talks a lot about, her new book, Believe It, and it's about overcoming and believing in yourself. And she talks about intuition and how she sold her company, It Cosmetics, for $1 billion to L'Oreal, but really how she had to start that company and continuously getting rejected. So if you have ever created a startup in business in any area, or you are interested in a startup meaning starting your own business, it's very different than being an employee because, you can typically when you're an employee, you get some type of education, you go through the interview process, you get the job, and all the power is in somebody else's hands. And you're in a system of, paycheck, you're there for the paycheck and dollar per hour. But when you are a business owner, this all comes down to you. The self-doubt. I mean, you can have self-doubt when you are in corporate as well. Of course, we have self-doubt in motherhood, in general. But when everything is on you, self-doubt can be a killer of profit, and self-doubt can be a killer of dreams and legacy. So this is my go-to when I am in a place of insecurity, when I'm doubting myself, when I'm not believing in myself. I think back to what I have accomplished and how I got there. So when you're in business, if you're like, shit, I need to pivot, like this isn't working, you're creating momentum or the good things are happening or whatever that is, there's evidence in your life of previous work that you have done that has gotten you to where you are today. And I remember starting my business when my intuition was on fire and it was like, go do this, go do that, start this, lean into this. And I had so much contrast in my life. And when I say contrast, I mean things that I didn't want. So much pain, so much suffering, so much struggle, so much uncertainty, but it was painful. Anxiety, depression, like it was freaking painful. And I would crawl my ass out of bed every single day and I would go to my job, come home, take care of the kids. But there was no part of me that felt alive. But the only reason why I started my business was because I knew the systems that I was working in was not going to allow me to feel expressive. So when I started my business, there was this little voice that was like, start this workshop, get interviewed by the radio, like these little subtle hints. And I would have to actively listen to that intuition. Like I would have to listen to it. I would have to follow it because it was my only hope. And I will never forget one of my first mentors. And I was having this conversation with her, and I was about to start my next level, program with her. And she stood there and held space for me on the phone. And I told her my vision. I told her what I wanted to do. And she was like, that sounds like an amazing idea. Like, I totally believe in it. And I broke down crying. Because you never realize the impact of having somebody on your side that believes in you. And sometimes that's not your family. It's not the people that live in your house. And that's okay. That's okay, right? We can't convert everybody all at once. But having, the non-bias, unemotionally attached person that's like, that you trust, that is like legit, I believe in you. You are very capable of doing this, because I held on to that belief outside of myself. I didn't necessarily have to believe in myself, but I held on to the belief that somebody else believed in me, that I was capable of doing it. But here's the thing. I held the belief, but I still had to take action. And I think self-doubt is the silent killer of not only joy, but the impact that we want to make in the world. And I will say this until I am blue in the face, probably until the day I die, who knows, that life, your purpose, what brings you joy, how you want to feel as a mother, how you want to feel in your relationships. Feeling alive is not only your birthright, that's exactly what you were searching for. Whether it's to feel alive or to feel free or to be financially stable, wealthy, you deserve more. You deserve way fucking more than you are giving yourself permission to feel. And the reason why you are limiting your impact is because we all have an internal thermometer for what we will let in. We all have an internal thermometer of what we will let in. That's it. Oh, had enough joy today, can't experience more. This is why we hustle. This is why we overwork. This is why we overmother. This is why we hang on to addictive thought process and thought patterns. So going back to business, for me, understanding how self-doubt robs you of your greater vision for the legacy and impact that you want to lead in your business. And it doesn't matter what you're selling, if it's a product, if it's a service, if you have a brick and mortar. A lot of people in the last year have been wildly challenged. And what I often hear is, I can't. Oh, and current climate, current expectations. And I'm like, fuck that. If you are believing that you currently can't accomplish something, you will not. You're going to allow self-doubt to damper your impact and to damper your profits. Now, I'm not saying you don't pivot. What I'm requiring you or asking of you today is to go back to your desire, because your desire is your truth. Wouldn't it be nice if? It's the simplest journal prompt that I tell people again and again and again, because there's not a lot of commitment around that journal prompt. Wouldn't it be nice if I could do this? Wouldn't it be nice if we did this in our business? Wouldn't it be nice if whatever, like write it out, and it could be personal related or it could be business related. Wouldn't it be nice if? Here's the thing. If you choose to mask those desires with self-doubt and limiting beliefs, and you're like, you don't know how to master your mindset, you don't know how to master the negativity bias in the brain, you will constantly focus on self-doubt of why you can't do something. Oh, my children are young. Oh, COVID. Oh, this. Oh, that. And you have to go back to the spark. You have to go back to that little sliver. And I can bring myself back to that moment when 99.9% of my life felt out of control. And there was that 0.1% that was so quiet. And it was like, Heather, do not give up. Go do this. That little breadcrumb, go do this. But I also had to get super quiet with myself. And if I didn't get quiet, if I didn't create the space, and it doesn't have to be a lot of space, you could sit in your car, sit in your closet, put some earplugs in, sit in the bathroom, go for a walk around the block, rent an Airbnb for the weekend. I always tell people, I'm like, you have time when you're sick in bed, but you don't have time when you ask people to take care of your responsibilities for 24 hours or 48 hours. You can still create freedom when you feel restricted. Let me repeat that again. You can still create the feeling of freedom when you feel restricted. I've been able to do it in the last year. Of course, there were seasons where I was like, I can't handle this. But then I asked myself, how can I? So you have to get very clear on your beliefs. You have to get clear on your mindset, and you have to reprogram your brain. And that is not a one and done. There's no quick tip or strategy. You could do all the hypnosis you want. You could do all the subconscious programming you want. And you're still going to have to feel the resistance and do it anyways. You're still going to have to get emotionally uncomfortable. But we are taught not to feel. And as women, we're also taught that guilt is bad. We are bad if we feel guilty. And that's not the truth. It's just guilt. All right. How do you actually know that it's guilt? It's just a feeling that you're associating with guilt. Oh, I feel guilty. Okay. So now why can't you do it? Well, I feel guilty. So you're refusing to feel the guilt and take action anyways. You're refusing to break the cycle. I would not be talking to you today if I did not hang on and listen to that 0.1% of belief that was inside of me when 99% of me wanted to give up, when I had self-doubt. And I don't believe that anybody is, built stronger than other people. I don't believe that. I just believe when somebody is ready, when a soul is ready to be self-expressed, it will. It will. And in Tuesday's episode, Jamie says, God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And the qualified to me, or the called, but qualifying somebody doesn't mean that they have all the certificates on the wall. It means that they're just willing to be brave and courageous and step in. And the more uncomfortable I get, the closer I'm getting to the magic, the closer I'm getting to alignment. But there's a belief out there that when we're uncomfortable, that means we're not headed in the right direction. But the opposite is true, right? The opposite is true. So, how is self-doubt killing your profits in your business? How are you cutting off, right? The title of my book, Dying to Be a Good Mother. I talk about this in the book, but how are you killing off? So dying, how are you cutting off, not allowing yourself to feel good in your business? And how are you blocking receiving more? And how is that more going to serve? So as a female, I'm a nurturer. I want to make an impact. So, a lot of females, we're not egotistical in the sense of me. Oh, I want to do it because I want this and I want that. Great. If that's your thing, go for it. But for me, it's how can I be of service to others? So I know that when my cup is full, I'm happy, I'm content, I'm energized, I'm alive, I'm fruitful, I'm abundant. And the more I have, the more I can give time, energy, and money. So when you feel like you're just doing just enough to get by, you're never breaking that pattern. And I guarantee you there's conscious or subconscious programming that you are not enough. So how do you get out of this loop? You scare the shit out of yourself. You hire and invest in mentorship. And when I say hire and invest, sure, that's money, but I also want to just reframe what investing is. Just because I buy into something doesn't mean I'm invested in it. So let me give you a physical example. This morning, I woke up. I have a gym membership, and I had an appointment to go to the gym. And I was actually going to back out. And lately I've been telling myself, stop breaking promises to yourself. If you're going to do something, do something. And I set myself up for success. I wasn't cramming it in. I wasn't rushed. I had my clothes picked out. I had everything. But investing is not just about investing in the gym membership. Investing is actually being all in and doing the work, which included feeling my discomfort, getting up and going to the gym. Now I get to make a course correction. I get to choose, do I want to go to the gym that early? Do I want to create space for it in the middle of the day, in the afternoon? Do I need to pivot that a little bit? But in the moment, I made a decision and I invested in it and I followed through. So what I see is a lot of women investing in a lot of things, but they're not actually invested. They're not energetically invested, and they're not investing their time. They've invested financial resources, but they're not all in with all areas of investment. So just something else to allow you to reflect on. And if you are ready to dive in to your journey and you want to learn more about how I can support you to build a more profitable business, with ease and sustainability, I invite you to check out a free video that I created for you. And you can find that at heatherchauvin.com/work with me. All you have to do is opt in, and I'll show you the structure, the process of how I do my coaching. We do Mastery Business, and it is all about sales and marketing in a very unique, sustainable, profitable way. So that's heatherchauvin.com/work with me. If you don't get anything from the video, I know you may see where you're getting in your own way, and you may get some tips and strategies on how to gain momentum. So heatherchauvin.com/work with me. You are not alone. You are so not alone. It is not your responsibility to know it all. And self-doubt is here to guide you. It's not about getting over it. It's about moving through it and co-creating your life with it, with fear, with anxiety, with guilt. Look at your big emotions and say, you don't scare me. What do you need from me, and why are you here? You can do this. You can feel alive.